And self-defense. I'm your host, Toby Leary, and this show is brought to you by Vortex Optics and the USCCA. So make sure you go check out all the great things they both have to offer. You can go sign up at uscca.co/RapidFire for a very special offer to get the financial and legal protection that you and your loved ones deserve, as well as access to some amazing training materials. So I urge you to go to uscca.co/RapidFire today, and you can check out all the great optics that Vortex makes at capegunworks.com, and they have the unconditional lifetime no BS warranty that is second to none in the industry. So we are live. The phone number today is 508-444-2120. If you want to be on the Rapid Fire show, that's the Rapid Fire line. And happy to take your calls and get this party started. But I got some breaking news, amazing breaking news. We have the Civil Rights Coalition up and running, and the website is live. It's called fightbackma.org. I will type that description into the chat so that you guys can go check it out. But it's there we go, fightbackma.org. And we also have the civilrightscoalition.com. That is coming soon. You'll be able to donate. Let's just do this. Why don't I show you? How about that? So here you are, fightbackma.org. I'm going to get that wrong a few more times. You can jump in if you have any questions. If you have a question about where the petitions are going to be, you can ask there. We're going to get the word out as soon as we have them. Right now, we're at the mercy of the Secretary of State, William Galvin's office. Word on the street is we should have them by Friday. So hopefully that comes to fruition. And but as you can see, when you scroll down, it's got some basic information. What is Fight Back MA? It is, or what is the Civil Rights Coalition? It is the ballot committee that has been formed in order to recall our rights, recall Chapter 135 of the Acts of 2024, which was formerly known as H 4885. You can take action right here on this website. You can sign up to volunteer by clicking that. You can find a signature collection site near you. There will be an interactive site map of all the places that will have ballots for signature or petitions for signature. So we're really excited about that. These are all the confirmed places right here. We have, you can see obviously Cape Gunworks is right there. The Gun Parlor has agreed. So we're really excited about that. There's a bunch of other places that hopefully won't be sportsman related or gun shops, like Jed's Hardware Store in Holden in Worcester County. So there might be some times specific to going and signing at those places. Basically, Cape Gunworks, it's going to be whenever we're open, you can come sign as soon as we get these petitions. So that's awesome. And this will grow as we get more and more sites that want to be a part of it. Most importantly, not most importantly, but in equal amount of importance, make a donation, if you will. The donations tab has only been on for a little while, and we're already seeing money come in, which is huge. We know that this campaign, it's a sprint, not a marathon, is going to take somewhere between $250,000 and probably more than that, just to get the signature part done. Never mind the second half of this, the whole ballot campaign. So I'm really excited that you guys can now donate. A lot of people have been doing super chats. This is a better place because YouTube won't take 30% of the money right off the top. So this will be a much better use of funds rather than the super chats, although I appreciate everyone who did do the super chat. We will put all that money right into this account. And we have a great committee. We have an incredible team that is rolling up their sleeves as we speak and has been working behind the scenes to get this done. We have filed our ballot committee with OCPF, which is the Political Campaign Finance Office of the state. And we're really excited to have this up and running as promised. So there's a quick QR code if anyone wants to scan the screen right now as you're watching. You can scan that QR. It'll take you right to the donate page. And if you want to take a picture of it and save it, you can do that. So that would be amazing. We're really, really, really looking forward to getting to work and getting signatures as soon as we get this done. All right, so some people are confused. A lot of people are confused and still on the old stream. Shoot, did I screw that up? If somebody sees another stream on YouTube, let me just see. I might have gone live twice. Who knows? Anything's possible with me at the controls, but I only see one, so I think we're good. Let's see. Yeah, I only see one live right now, so hopefully that's all we got. All right, getting back to this, let's check out the site again. There we go. I want to give you the kind of tutorial on the site. Redirect to the Civil Rights Coalition website. This is the main page where you can sign up to be a volunteer. This is the call to action page. You can put all your name, county, your address right in, what you're willing to do to help, whether you want to get signatures, be a town captain, be a county captain, manage a table for a signature drive, willing to go door to door. Some people love that. Other people like, just point me in the right direction, donate money, lawn sign, election day, 2026, work in the campaign office. So you can kind of tell us what it is that your area of expertise is. And after you sign up, tweet that thing out that you did it, and maybe other people will get inspired and let the world know that you are rearing to go. Obviously, we got a donate button up here as well. So there it is. If you hit the donate, you'll be brought right to that. There's no limit on what you can give. So don't worry about, it's not like a typical donation to a candidate, because this is a ballot committee. There's no limit to what you can give. It's not tax deductible, but there you go. So if you know anyone, like the old Reverend used to say, some of you can write a check. I'm talking to you. And listen, all this money is going to the campaign. It's going to go to printing. We're going to have tens of thousands, probably north of $10,000 in just printing costs. We got to buy clipboards and pens for volunteers, and we got to get signs printed and everything else. It's going to be a lot of work. Make no mistake about it. So we need you. Uncle Sam needs you. Your rights need you. So now or never, volunteer, donate, and then we got a news page. There's been a lot of news in the last couple days. Hopefully we can get that up and running pretty quick. There was a Boston Globe article today There was also one on Sunday. I'm sorry, I keep saying that, and I apologize. That's a terrible thing to say to the Herald, that there was a Boston Globe. So allegedly, I'm on the front page of the Herald today. So I haven't bought the paper yet. I'm going to go do that. It has a link to the Massachusetts Gun Owners Rally that was on Saturday, which I was very appreciative of the article that the author wrote. This is the same author that wrote the article Sunday. He wanted to do a follow-up, Chris Van Buskirk, and I think, he did a great job. A couple little nitpicky things, but that's okay. But let's read it together. A Cape Cod gun store owner in the process of kicking off a mad dash to collect tens of thousands of signatures by early October to suspend the enforcement of a new wide-ranging gun law in Massachusetts, while an effort to repeal the measure moves forward. Opponent of the law, which Governor Maura Healey signed in July, already took the first step to erase it from the state's books earlier this month, but now face an October 9th deadline to submit more than 49,000 signatures to local election officials to put the statute on hold and place a referendum in question on November 2026 ballot. Toby Leary, the co-founder of Cape Gunworks, filed paperwork Monday with the state's campaign finance office to set up the Civil Rights Coalition, a move that allows the group to solicit donations in what could be a multi-year battle against law. Beacon Democrats have argued is intended to keep the public safe, but critics say create cumbersome hurdles to ownership. How do lawmakers say this keeps us safe? They're implying that you are causing the violence and the bloodshed, which nothing could be further from the truth, as evidenced by a peaceful protest on Saturday with a bunch of gun cranks, a bunch of gun owners. And guess what? Not a single shot was fired other than the howitzers, the 21 gun salute up the hill. But that wasn't us. Peaceful, patriotic. We used the trash receptacles. We didn't leave the Parkman bandstand a mess. And nobody got shot. Go figure. You would think by reading what the implications of Michael Day are on gun owners in Massachusetts that there would have been bloodshed in the streets. But let's move on. In an interview with the Herald, Leary said the law is a broad overreach of state government authority and an infringement on Second Amendment rights. He said the coalition that he is heading up is prepared to tap a network of hundreds of gun stores, firearms groups, and sportsmen's clubs to amass the signatures necessary to temporarily shelve the statute. Gun rights are civil rights, and it's our belief that just like other civil rights that have been hard fought in our country's history, this one is worth fighting for, he said. If you allow the right to keep and bear arms to be eroded, then every other civil right enumerated in our Bill of Rights could just as easily be taken away. But Governor Maura Healey could upend the process to suspend the law using a procedural tactic by adding an emergency preamble to the statute, a spokesman for Secretary of State William Galvin's office said. Healey can add the emergency language to the law at any point, even after opponents file enough signatures to suspend the measure. The move would immediately head off or avoid a voter-approved suspension, but still allow for a repeal campaign. A spokesman for Healey did not say whether the governor planned to deem the law an emergency statute. Governor Healey knows that Massachusetts' strong gun laws save lives, and she was proud to sign the state's most significant gun safety legislation in a decade, the spokesman said in a statement. Leary said it would be a really bad look if Healey decided to add emergency language to the law. It would be very interesting for the governor, who is a member of the Democrat Party, who decries the threat to democracy all the time, to actually thwart the democratic process, Leary said. The proposal Healey signed this summer bars people from under 21 from owning semi-automatic rifles and shotguns, though those between 18 and 21 can still own and possess firearms with an identification card. And I would clarify, only certain firearms. It only allows them to own lever action, pump action, slide action, single shot, bolt action, rifles and shotguns. It does not allow them to own a semi-automatic Benelli Super Black Eagle to go duck hunting. It doesn't allow them to own a Remington 1100 with a rifled slug barrel on it to go deer hunting, which, by the way, is the gun my daughter used to kill her first deer at age 9. The statute also requires prospective gun owners to undergo live fire training. Democrats wrote into the law language taking aim at ghost guns by requiring the serialization of all firearms, including those that are made at home, and provisions creating penalties for the possession, creation, and transfer of all untraceable guns. Meaning, if you don't get the government permission slip, you're a criminal. They're implying nefarious intent by lawful, peaceful citizens, all because we want to be able to make guns in the privacy of our own home without government interference, without having to do anything to ask permission for the free exercise of the right to keep and bear arms. That is unreasonable. That's how it's been for 247 years in our country's history. But now all of a sudden, no, you can't participate in freedom without our permission, says the self-imposed tyrants. But I digress. Let's move on. The law changed the definition of machine gun to include bump stocks, trigger cranks, Glock switches, and other modifications now subject to legal penalties. Yeah, because Glock switches weren't already illegal? Oh, okay. Lawmakers also clarified how to determine whether a firearm is an assault weapon or assault-style weapon, and the circumstance under which a person may continue to possess that type of gun and large-capacity feeding device they already own, according to a summary of the statute prepared by Attorney General Andrea Campbell in response to the referendum effort. So Andrea's saying, all we're doing is clarifying how you're able to continue to keep and possess the guns that you already keep and possess. Because everybody was wondering that, right? Like, how do I keep the gun I already own? Well, if it wasn't for the government, you would just keep it, right? But the government wants to take it from you if you're 18 to 20 years old and won't tell you how to do that, but they're threatening you at the business end of a gun that is on the other side of an enforcement official carrying out these unconstitutional acts. I think they should be renamed the Intolerable Acts. And we should have another Tea Party. But anyway, Representative Michael Day, a Stoneham Democrat and chief architect of the law, described those behind the repeal effort as extreme groups. He's calling us extremists now. So the most peaceful citizens in the state, the gun-owning community, which is less likely to commit a crime than law enforcement community, believe it or not, look it up. We're the extremist groups. Okay. And maintained that the statute is both constitutional and sensible gun control. See, he didn't get the memo from Brady, Giffords, Everytown, Bloomberg, all the usual suspects. I'm sure the moms demand attention would be furious that he went back to like 1994 and started using gun control again. It's gun safety, Michael. This isn't sensible gun control. It's gun safety. Get your terms together, would you please? We're going to have to ask you after your usefulness has expired to step away from the movement if you can't get the terms, the made-up propaganda terms down pat. Gun control was so 1994. We are into gun safety, because who opposes safety? Anyway, Day said arguments that the law he helped write is an infringement on residents' Second Amendment rights is not a particularly serious discussion point. So, the civil rights advocate self-proclaimed civil rights advocate, I might add, has said that to say that this is unconstitutional is not even a serious conversation, because it's obviously in the plain text of the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It's right there in the plain text that you can provide licensing requirements, you can charge fees, you can cause training curriculums to need to be written by mass unelected bureaucrats and enforcement agencies. You can tell people where they can and can't carry. You can also tell people of certain age that they can't own certain guns. You can also tell the most peaceful segment of society what gun that they're able to own when they go to the gun store to purchase a gun for their own enjoyment and their own defensive purposes, what gun they can do that with. And by the way, if they were smart enough to purchase standard capacity magazines under the grandfather clause, that guess what? They are no longer able to store ammunition in those. They're no longer able to carry those out in public. Why? Why is that? That doesn't make any sense. Who is that keeping safe? It's keeping safe violent thugs and tyrants who come to take away your right to keep and bear arms. Those are the only two groups that those type of requirements keep anyone safe. They did not say whether he would help stand up a group to oppose the repeal effort. Let's wait and see. Initially, they said they were going to get it on the ballot in 2024. It sounds like the target has moved to 2026. He said, who knows if they're going to turn in the signatures? Who knows if they're really going to pursue this? Leary said he already has donation pledges from multiple gun stores around the state and has reached out to figures with national prominence. He declined to offer any names before details were hashed out for help. He said multiple gun stores and firearms clubs have committed to donating more than $100,000 to the cause. That got a little lost in translation, but we'll go with it. I believe that we could quickly multiply that. He said it's going to take every penny. We're not delusional at what this could cost. It really could be a very expensive campaign. The way it is shaping up, it's a sprint, not a marathon. We have a ticking deadline. And by the way, William Galvin, the Secretary of State's office, could just help the cause and release the petitions now, but we're still waiting, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll see them sooner rather than later, but there you have it. That's the way it's going. So let's get to some of the questions here. Actually, let's go to a quick break, and then we'll be right back after the break. We got Dom from Restricted America in the second hour, so stay tuned for that, but we're going to go to a quick break right now. Don't go away. I'm Toby Leary. Vortex offers the very best optics specifically made for shooters with rugged construction designed for extreme environments. Vortex Optics build quality ensures accurate, reliable, and repeatable performance every time you squeeze the trigger. Add fully multi-coated lenses and nitrogen purging, and you have a quality optic with an extremely reasonable price tag. That is the Vortex difference. Come into Cape Gunworks to see the full line of Vortex optics today. Carrying a firearm for personal protection has never been more popular than it is today. The USCCA can help fortify your home, sharpen your awareness, and develop your defensive plan. Go to uscca.co/rapidfire to sign up. Your family's safety and security is your responsibility. Go to uscca.co/rapidfire to sign up for a USCCA membership and get special training, legal advice, and legal protection you and your family need. Federal delivers a knockout punch with the leading defensive ammo on the market. Federal Punch hollow points are accurate and reliable in all defensive situations. When you need reliability designed to provide a balanced mix of effective penetration and expansion, you need Punch defensive ammunition from Federal, the leader in nickel-plated brass ammo with a sealed primer to deliver reliable feeding and ignition. Get Federal Punch defensive hollow point ammunition here at Cape Gunworks. Welcome back to Rapid Fire, your weekly show all things guns, freedom, Second Amendment, and self-defense. I'm your host, Toby Leary, and thank you guys for tuning in. The chat's on fire today. I appreciate you. If everyone would take a second to give it a like and subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate that. The channel has been growing, thankfully. Amazingly, we're over the 17,000 mark. We just hit the 10,000 mark July 18th on my birthday. That was the small present to the big present that the State House gave me, which was this horrible bill, H-4885. But just since my birthday, a week and 10 days, we've got another 7,200 subscribers, which is amazing. That's just unbelievable growth, and I appreciate everybody doing that. So pretty cool. Took 10 years to get 10,000 and a month and 10 days to get another 7,200. So it's all because of you guys, so I appreciate that. Let's do the poll question real quick. This week's poll is over on X, which you can vote in. I really hope you do. And by the way, the final result of last week's poll, which never got above 341 votes, even though we had 2 or 3 days after I live streamed, something weird going on there, but was, what will Maura Healey do about our recall of the unconstitutional gun ban bill? Will she go full tyrant, or no, she will allow the constitutional process to take place? Let me know in the comments. 78.9% of you thought that she will go full tyrant mode and sign the emergency preamble. I am in the minority at 21.1%, saying nothing, she'll let it happen. But this week's poll question is an interesting one, if you ask me. And you'll see why next week when I have next week's guest on. But it is, if a candidate for any office doesn't align with most of your key issues, but is a Second Amendment supporter on election day, do you, A, hold your nose and vote for them, B, vote for my party, or C, stay at home? And 85.7% of you hold your nose and vote for the Pro 2A candidate. 9.5% will stick to party lines, whichever side of the aisle you're on. And 4.8% of you will stay home. Just feel like your vote isn't going to be counted and it's not worth getting out of your chair to go vote. So please vote and let me know in the comments why you think what you think. And Susanna Gracia Hupp said, how a politician stands on the Second Amendment tells you how he or she views you as an individual, as a trustworthy and productive citizen, or as part of an unruly crowd that needs to be lorded over, controlled, supervised, and taken care of. If the second is not supported, nothing else matters. That's from Richard Archie. Dana says, being an anti-2A or even pro-common sense gun laws is a deal breaker for me. As for being pro-2A, yep, I expect you to uphold the Constitution, but it is not an immediate deal maker. Truth Underground says, well, my party is always for Second Amendment and the Constitution, so he has that luxury of voting for both. Nick says, the second is my issue. It's a litmus test for many other things. I would agree. Mike says, you're talking about a unicorn. Those candidates don't exist in Massachusetts. I don't think that's true. And John Kraft Jr. says, I am a King George III voter personally. I don't know if he's just trolling me or that's true, if he really believes that the crown should still be in control of things here in America. But anyway, cool. Thank you, co-founded says he donated $100 over at the Civil Rights Coalition website, and that's a much better way of doing it than the super chat. So we really are excited about that. Thank you very much for the donations. It will be put to good use. And Dawn is wondering, are gun clubs in the state helping out? And yes, they are. They definitely are getting activated now. One thing I would say is, if anyone was at the rally on Saturday, you will see that I'd say it peaked out at 1,500. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic, but that means 598,500 people stayed home, right? So if we got 1,500 gun owners to come out, I'm being obviously round numbers here, then 598,500 people stayed home or went to work or had other plans or out of town or on vacation. I'm not like pointing a finger at you guys for not being there. I'm just saying that that's how many showed up, right? And for that reason, I don't think we can rely too heavily on the gun clubs, if you will, especially because they meet once a month, and out of the, let's say on the low end, 100 members, on the high end, 1,000 or 12 or 1,500 members, when they meet once a month to have the monthly meeting for the club, how many people show up? 20, 30, 50, if you're really lucky. So we don't, if we are putting all our eggs in that basket and hoping that when the two meetings that happen, or the few meetings that happen from now till October 9th, really, that we're going to be getting tens of thousands of signatures from the gun clubs, I don't really hold out too much hope for that. Maybe they will have like a signature day on Saturday or Sunday, and maybe we'll even have volunteers go sit at the gun clubs for members who show up on Saturday. That's obviously the big day. Everyone goes shoot Sunday. So we really, really need to rely on more people than just the gun clubs. Gun stores, same thing. Not all gun stores are going to participate, and they're also not going to have the staff to educate the staff on how to collect signatures properly and everything else. So this is going to be a massive effort, and we're all going to have to, there's certain parts of this that we're all going to have to do to basically, keep the ball rolling in the right direction. So hopefully that helps, guys. I wrote an article. I'm not sure if it's live yet on the HowieCarShow.com website. Let me see if it is. Because if it is, I'm kind of proud of it. Let me just see if there's an article on there. Not yet. Well, there's going to be an article on the Howie Carr Show website. I don't want to preempt him putting it out. I'm going to wait till it goes live before I repost it on Twitter or whatever. But basically, it's a call to action. And I was hoping it would be out by now, but because that would be great. I'd just read it to you guys. But instead, we're going to stick with the chat and talk to you guys, which is perfectly fine for me. Let's see. Mass is the only state with bans on assault black powder muskets for us non-residents to hunt with. I am still using mine regardless, though. Won't comply with the idiocy. Yeah, there's not much I'm changing. Yeah, you know what? Thanks for pointing this out, Crockpot Broccoli. I wish I could find who the original guy was that made these. because I don't know who it was. I bought a bunch of them from him, and then I ripped them off because I couldn't find them again last year when I wanted to get these reprinted. And we updated the date on the back to last year instead of 2016. But yes, these shirts are from 2016. And I don't remember, for the life of me who made them. And I'd love to give them credit. So maybe if you guys know who it was, I totally forget. But anyway, I might be able to find it if I go back in the archives and see who the heck we paid for them. But I doubt that's something I'll be able to. It's not a good use of my time. Let's put it that way. I'm not giving up anything. Anyone wants to get rid of their pre-ban stuff, I'll buy it. Ditto. We're buying pre-ban. We're buying, post-2016 shrouded weapons. We're buying pre-2016 ARs and AKs. So, yeah, we got all kinds of good stuff. What is the legality of things like the CAA MCK kit with braces in Massachusetts nowadays? I'm interested in them, but not sure where they stand. Well, I'll tell you what I've been told by legal. Legal advice was they think it would make it into an assault weapon if you put one in the MCK kit. But I'm like, it's temporary. It doesn't change the use of the gun. The gun is just in a other piece of plastic. So now is that piece of plastic part of the gun? I don't think so. So I have a hard time. That's like saying when you put your pistol in your Pelican case, it's now over 49 ounces, and that makes it a assault weapon. That doesn't make sense. So I don't see how you can construe that, but that's just what legal told me. Because you put it in the plastic and now it's over 49 ounces, that would make it an assault weapon. But anyway, Ed, it looks like he's wondering if we can carry switchblades now, and I absolutely think you can based on the Supreme Judicial Court ruling, unless Mass tries to appeal it federally, and I think they would lose horribly, but I don't know. And yes, I do sell them in my shop, Rut, but I don't have any currently. We've sold out, so I will be getting some more. What type of arms, Confounded Containment wants to know, what type of arms are capable of providing for the security of a free state? I would say bearable arms that are useful for offensive or defensive purposes. That is the definition of arm from the founding era, 1791. By the way, I wonder if I can find it. A show that I follow posted something that was very cool, and it was I'm going to try and find it right now. He put the Second Amendment basically into some sort of AI, and what it generated was fascinating. And I wish that politicians would see it the way AI does, because it made perfect sense to me. But the bottom line is I'm not going to be able to find it now, son of a gun, because it was fascinating. Let me just see if I can find it. I think I know where to find it. And I apologize. I should have this at my fingertips. Look at the time already. All right, we'll go to a quick break, and then when we come back, I'll have it for you. How about that? Sound like a deal? We'll get back to the chat as well. Don't forget the phone lines, 508-444-2120 if you want to give me a call. We'll be right back. I'm Toby Leary. This is Rapid Fire. Vortex offers the very best optics specifically made for shooters with rugged construction designed for extreme environments. Vortex Optics build quality ensures accurate, reliable, and repeatable performance every time you squeeze the trigger. Add fully multi-coated lenses and nitrogen purging, and you have a quality optic with an extremely reasonable price tag. That is the Vortex difference. Come into Cape Gunworks to see the full line of Vortex optics today. Carrying a firearm for personal protection has never been more popular than it is today. The USCCA can help fortify your home, sharpen your awareness, and develop your defensive plan. Go to uscca.co/rapidfire to sign up. Your family's safety and security is your responsibility. Go to uscca.co/rapidfire to sign up for a USCCA membership and get special training, legal advice, and legal protection you and your family need. Federal delivers a knockout punch with the leading defensive ammo on the market. Federal Punch hollow points are accurate and reliable in all defensive situations. When you need reliability designed to provide a balanced mix of effective penetration and expansion, you need Punch defensive ammunition from Federal, the leader in nickel-plated brass ammo with a sealed primer to deliver reliable feeding and ignition. Get Federal Punch defensive hollow point ammunition here at Cape Gunworks. Welcome back to Rapid Fire, your weekly show, all things guns, freedom, Second Amendment, and self-defense. I'm your host, Toby Leary, and I apologize if you've tried to call the show today. It's not working right at the moment. I got a message out to tech support to try to get on that. But anyway, as promised, I found the thing I was talking about, and it was Gemini, which was used to clarify the Second Amendment for us. So I don't know which AI program Gemini is, but it doesn't really matter. It's some AI thing, right? So he asked it, can you cite the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution? And it says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Then he asked it, can you define well-regulated using the meaning of the era? In the 18th century, well-regulated meant organized, disciplined, and effective. It did not imply government control or regulation in the modern sense. Instead, it referred to a militia that was prepared and capable of performing its duty as a defense force. The term was used to distinguish a militia from a disorganized mob or a standing army. A well-regulated militia was one that had structure, leadership, and training to ensure its effectiveness in times of crisis. Who was in the militia? The militia was typically composed of adult male citizens in the 18th century. Most men were expected to serve in the military as part of their civic duty. However, not everyone was required to serve. Some men were exempt due to age, disability, or other factors. The militia was often organized at the local level, with such as companies or regiments. These units were usually led by elected officers, such as captains or colonels. Thank you. You're welcome. Is there anything else you would like to know? Can you define what is meant by the people? In the context of the Second Amendment, the people refers to the citizenry as a whole, rather than a specific group or individuals. This means that the right to keep and bear arms is a fundamental right that belongs to all citizens, not just a select few. It's important to note that the meaning of the people has evolved over time, and interpretations can vary depending on legal and historical context. However, the general understanding is that the right to bear arms is an individual right that is protected by the Constitution. What is meant by infringed? Infringed means to violate or encroach upon a right or privilege. In the context of the Second Amendment, it means that government cannot take away or limit the right of the people to keep and bear arms without a legitimate reason. The term infringed suggests that the right to bear arms is a fundamental liberty that should be protected from government interference. Can you rewrite the Second Amendment with the clarification of the terms well-regulated militia, the people, and infringed using as you just defined? A well-organized and effective militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of all citizens to keep and bear arms shall not be violated or limited by the government. I like that. And doesn't that ring true? I mean, that is exactly what the original interpretation of it was, right? It's not anything else other than what that says. And anybody who tries to say it is being disingenuous. So, yeah, I like that. But all right, let's get back to the chat. And I'm working on the phone, so if I apologize already, if you tried calling and it's not working. Let's see. Jeff says LTC and 2-inch blade restrictions incoming. Probably something like that. Crock pot. I've heard nothing from my gun club on this. Crickets. It's disappointing. It is. But we really didn't have a place to point people, so stay tuned. You should hear some stuff now, hopefully. Let's see. My rep is a Democrat, and then she voted pro 2A on the last bill. I had to do a double take. Yep, she's worth supporting, in my opinion. So that's great. FUD rifles only. Was it one of the... Are semi-auto centerfire rifles still legal in Mass? Yes, Stephen. They are. Whenever I would go to my local gun club meeting, it would be me and 2 old timers with cobwebs growing on them. Unfortunately, yes. Crockpot, I'm not sure what you mean about, was it one of the Northeast shooters guys? Can we make an SBR in Massachusetts if we go through the proper process for tax stamps? Absolutely you can. That is no problem. They are chipping away at the selection of what is left. That's true. And what makes it even worse is the fact that they're going to have this board, the Assault Weapon Advisory Board, or Assault Style Weapon Advisory Board, that is going to be able to add and take guns on and off the list however they deem fit. So, crazy. This is an interesting question, Lord Hendricks. Could you run a background check for someone before going through the application and classes to see if they would qualify for an LTC or FID, or do you have to go through the whole process? Unfortunately, you have to go through the whole process. I cannot just run... I just can't run background checks on people, unfortunately. But what you could do is go down and ask to have your court report or your police report pulled. The only thing that would make you a prohibited person is if you are a felon. So, yeah. Comfortably Numb says, Mr. Beast is a representative. Elizabeth is Queen Elizabeth II. The Sioux natives call me albino rhino or white rhino when they made me an honorary member of the tribe in 2001. Why don't you trolls want to have a direct conversation? I don't know what any of that means, so I'm not going to go there. Nick's background check can only be used for firearms purchases. Crockpot is saying, and I agree with them, get permission to gather signatures in front of Market Basket, grocery store. Lots of people would sign them there. You know, I don't know if you need to ask permission. Maybe you do. I honestly don't remember, but maybe you do. I don't know. Because there's always people out in front of Market Basket or grocery stores, and I agree. Anne Marie was thinking the same thing about Stop and Shop and Shaw's. And Michael's saying, Carrie, Ann, your speech on Saturday was great. So I agree with that. She's always a great speaker and a great advocate for the Second Amendment. Let's see. AI on YouTube thinks I'm its daddy because So much of my life is interwoven into our culture over the past 37 years. All right, I don't know what he's talking about, but anyway, just got a shirt that says Gun Ma. It's like grandma, but more fun and own guns. I love it, Anne-Marie. That's great. Let's see. The kingdom behind the nation's rules are... Oh, I keep... He's getting prolific here in the chat. Instead of keep and bear, I'd say own, possess, and carry. I like that. Michael has the good hashtag, you can't do that. Hopefully that rings in your ears. 2A Ace says, can I recommend any fixed magazine kits to avoid the AWB? I like the Dark Storm stuff. They seem to work the best. A good second is the Franklin Armory stuff. However, if you get the Franklin Armory, I would replace their metal mag with the P mag, and we can do that for you. That way, the Mean Arms MA loaders work best with P mags. They don't work great with metal mags like the Stenang mags. So, oh, the shirts, okay. I think it was someone on NES, but I don't remember. Is the Ruger PC carbine legal in Mass now? Yes, the Ruger PC carbine with the Monte Carlo stock will still be able to be sold in Massachusetts. We have them coming in. I just got more of the SIG regulators, the MCX regulators. It's been a while since I've had them, and you can get those while you can. Let's see. John left us a voicemail. All right, so he probably tried to call. I don't know why it's not working, John. I apologize. Not cool, but I'll try to see if I can play I don't even see the voicemail, so I don't know. Maybe we can get tech support here on the phone line, but where can I donate? That will be the most impactful for the cause. Also, has anyone from Bristol County signed to have the petition? Javier, I would definitely go to our website. I'll send you the link. I'll drop it in the chat again. But that is fightbackma.org or the civilrightscoalition.com. Actually, I'll just give you that one. I've already dumped the other link in the chat, so I'm going to do this one now. Any idea what's going on with that? No. It's like not even really logged in or something because I can't
switch that
to this.
RapidFire.
Ah. There it is. It's funny, I called it and it registers that Dad called. Will I be able to play voicemails if I turn on the... Let's try it. How do I play it? Oh, that's a text. Toby, as far as the AR pistol, is there a limit on the shortness of the barrel and the stock fixed or no? No, if it's a fixed mag AR pistol, this is 603, you don't have to worry about the length of the barrel, and there's no limit on that. And also, you don't have a stock if it's a pistol. So you might have a brace, but I wouldn't say you have to pin it. All right, let's see. My phone question is about a strip lower receiver in 2023, and I know I don't know what to do with it, but let's play it.
Hey, Toby, it's John. I'm from the Springfield area, not Springfield itself. My name is 413-207-1903 on my phone. My question is, I bought a stripped lower receiver in 2023, and I don't know what to do with it. I've finished building it and registered it and all that, but I don't know what's going to go on with it.
All right. Well, I wouldn't worry too much about it at this point. If you've registered it, I would just pin it, make sure it's not a violation of the a violation of the assault weapons ban. That's really all. I don't want to play anymore because I didn't realize he was leaving his cell phone, so I don't want that to go out over the interwebs. Everybody leaves their number though. Another one from 508 says, my question regarding the 22 caliber rimfire guns, such as the 1022 or the 1522, are those included in the ban now? Thank you. No, they are not. Let's see. Steve, you've been trying to order a rifle off the website for the last hour, and every time it kicks you out, won't allow you to. It says minimum product tag required. So that was probably when we basically took down every gun on our website because things were just flying off the shelf. So I apologize for that screw up on our part. There was really no way for us to fix that. But anyway, where can businesses in Massachusetts get the 4885 petition in order to have their customers sign in to have the bill put on hold? Thank you, David. We will get the word out. But I'll give you I just texted you back to where. Toby radio sound, not on stream. I think this is old. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. What constitutes large capacity when registering firearms I moved into the state with? If it's capable of accepting is what they really want you to be able to. That might be it right there. No. So it should ring now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also 5.
All right. So we're going to go to a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to have Dom from Restricted America. So stand by. And let me just do this before we go to break. Give you guys something cool to watch while we're on break. And we'll be right back, so don't go away. I'm Toby Leary.
Well, what do we have here? Well, what we have here is the FEG HD18 rifle. And what that stands for is Hungarian Dragunov 18. This is a new production that is patterned after the world famous SVD Dragunov rifle. These were made in Russia and China. The Russian version is going to set you back about $20,000 to $25,000. The Chinese versions are going to set you back a minimum of $10,000. So here's your chance to enter the Dragunov, the SVD game, for a lot less than that. It's still a very pricey gun, but I want to point out some very interesting features on this gun that got a lot of the collectors of the originals very excited. So here we go. If you've ever seen any of the movies like American Sniper, you'll see that the sniper that Chris Kyle was hunting was using a Dragunov. This is a dedicated sniper rifle for a lot of countries out there. They all used them. You know, a lot of the Eastern Soviet bloc countries, a lot of the Middle Eastern countries alone also use them. But this gun, I was always a little bit skeptical. I figured, it's just a big AK. No, it's really not. It wasn't even made by Kalashnikov, and it is a totally different rifle. It only ever came with a 10-round magazine, so therefore the state must love it, right? And it shoots the 7.62 by 54R cartridge, which is a big round. I would call it the Russian equivalent of the 30-06. It is a very big 7.62 chamber that has a big rim on the back. That's what the R stands for, that holds it into the chamber. And legit high performance round. Lots of people love them. The Mosin Nagant is chambered in the same caliber, but this is a semi-automatic version. It also has this really cool Russian illuminated reticle scope on it with the typical J reticle on that as well, and it runs off AA batteries, so pretty easy to service. It'll also quick detach on and off the rifle, and it comes with some backup iron sights that are fully adjustable for elevation as well as windage. It's got this hooded, like kind of HK style, for lack of a better comparison, front sight on it. Apparently you can get a gunsmith to take this muzzle protector off, and it does ship with a flash hider. So if you want to return it to the original look, you can with that big flash hider that they ship with it. It's got the thumb hole stock, which is now an evil feature in Massachusetts. Can you believe it? Well, I'm glad this came in before the ban. So anyway, it's got a cheek piece that aligns you with the scope. It's got a soft cushion on the scope so you can put your eye right to the reticle, block out any potential glare or sunlight coming in. And this cheek piece can be moved around on the top of the stock here. But one of the things I found that it was really nice was this wood grain stock. This is actually a walnut stock, and they finish it in what they call a pickled finish, but it's laminated, as you can see, all the striations in there and the laminations of the wood. They put kind of a sporterized butt on it that gives you a nice grip on the pistol grip with a little white line in there. Same thing on the butt stock. Nice butt pad on there. This thing's gonna kick, so you wanna make sure you're protected. They also put the ventilation holes in the handguard after the M-lock pattern. So this is the Magpul M-lock pattern, so you should be able to attach QD or Picatinny rail wherever you want if you want to attach a sling outside of this attachment point that they give it to you. And there's also a sling in the back attachment point there. You can thread through that steel rod that goes through the stock. But yeah, if you want to put pick rail and add attachments to this, you can on the top set of slots. The one on the bottom is really close to the barrel. I wouldn't recommend it. But other than that, it is a beautifully made gun, has a phenomenal trigger in it. As you can see, the bolt stays open after the last round on the magazine, and it is just a well-crafted, it's a fully machined steel receiver. So it's not like a typical Soviet rifle with a lot of stamped steel. This is machined out of solid steel. And the fit and finish on it is really, really good and worth the price of admission for this gun. So if you want something really unique, really special, you don't want to spend the money it takes to get the original Dragunovs. These were, I think, made under license for years, but Hungary makes the phenomenal version of this. I think there's a lot of proof marks on it, a lot of care has gone into the manufacture of this rifle, and I think that you'll love it. It'll be a great addition to your collection, and it's the fire-breathing 7.62 by 54R, so what's not to like? But if you need to have that cool gun in the collection, I would say this is one to take a hard look at, and it got the attention of serious collectors throughout the country, so for all the right reasons, I think it pays homage to the original. Has an adjustable gas block up here, and you can tune this in for a serious shooter or just a collector for an investment grade gun. So there you have it, guys. I don't have many of these. This is the only one. I managed to get two. The first one sold almost instantly, and I have ordered these 3 times now, and this is the first time I got any of them. So really, really hard gun to get and high demand, and very cool for all the right reasons. So check that out. You can go to rapidfireradio.us and scroll down to see Gun of the Week. Click on it, and you'll see this gun there. You can add it to the cart right from the website or come on into the store and check it out. But don't delay, because it might not be around much longer. So thanks for tuning in. I'm Toby Leary. We'll see you on Rapid Fire. All right, welcome back to Rapid Fire, and I'm happy to have on the stream with us here Dom from RestrictedAmerica. So Dom, how's it going today? How are you?
Great. Can you hear me all right?
Loud and clear. Maybe,
awesome.
Maybe
too
everybody
loud?
could jump in the chat and let me know that you can be heard. But yeah, thanks for making the time to come on the stream. I recently found out about your stream and became a follower and so like what you're doing and all that. So I figured, hey, get an opportunity to have you on and share what it is you're doing. And why don't you tell everyone about you and also your YouTube channel, Restricted America.
Yeah, I just want to start off. I am terrible with technology, surprisingly. Um, as
Not as bad as me.
as your, I think Max has helped me with a lot. So thank you to you and to Max for setting this up. But yeah, I started Restricted America probably last February, but I didn't start doing long form videos like this or what I've been doing until just about like a month, maybe like 2 months ago. I was always just doing like shorts about guns and ammo and, kind of just stuff for fun. But once I heard that this bill was passing, the H4885 version, I hopped on and I was like, I need to help spread the word because I was already watching you. Thank you very much, Toby. And I was pretty much watching like your episodes, and I was like, wow, I mean, Toby's doing this. He's also running a full-time business. And to go into my backstory a little bit, I also help run a full-time business. Our business has nothing to do with guns. It's called Rocco's Donut Company. So we actually do donuts.
Well, shoot, man, you're speaking my love language, Dom. Don't do that, because anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I know. I'm like, wow, maybe people don't want to hear about donuts on this gun channel, but I'm like, maybe they do.
Oh, heck yeah, we do. Donuts are like a breakfast of champions as far as I'm concerned. And it's funny that you bring that up because I shouldn't go down this rabbit trail. I shouldn't do it, but
I want to hear it.
Here we go. I secretly have a passion for donuts and wanted to do a donut business myself. And this is very recently too. It's actually funny. Go way back, 17-year-old senior business. I'm a senior at Cape Cod Tech in small business management class. My senior project was to write a business plan for a donut shop, a coffee shop. And it was because I love coffee and I love donuts and pastries and whatever, and more about coffee. But I always was like, if we could do good hand cut, delicious donuts that are like a craft donut, we're gonna own the world. We'll have the world eating out of our hand. This is me, like 17 years old, brainstorming. And so I wrote the business plan, and then it was probably the only thing I got an A on in the whole small business management class, because I was like so disinterested in the class itself as a concept, which is really dumb because I'm a businessman nowadays. At the time I was at Tech for carpentry, and all I wanted to do was go frame houses. So I had no interest in learning about, business management at the time, but that's another story for a different day. But my teacher said, you should take this to a bank. You did such a good job on it. I bet they'll give you a loan to do your donut shop. And I'm like, yeah, maybe someday. Right now I'm going to frame houses. And my back is still mad at me for that decision. But the truth of the matter is, a couple of years ago, I circled back full circle. When something's in my head, I can't let go of it sometimes. And so I convinced my business partner to buy a food truck, and we were going to do hand-cut donuts out of the food truck. And I don't know how to make donuts. I know how to eat them, and I know how to drink coffee. I can brew coffee. So I thought, we'll buy this food truck. It was the wrong truck for making donuts in, number one. Number two, it wasn't even like a food truck that you serve out of. It didn't even have like a window on the side. It was the total wrong truck to buy. But we did it, and we tried it, and it was kind of working, but it was a lot of work, and we kind of somebody wanted to rent it, and we said, absolutely, you can rent my food truck. So, but it's still one of those things that resurfaces every now and then. So I'm sorry to just jump in on your story, but that's I'm more interested in your story about donuts now than ever before, and that's why. So,
no, of course. No, thanks for adding that though. So we started. So it was me and my family, as in my siblings and my my dad. We started it in 2018. So a fact for you all, I don't even know if my viewers know this, but I'm actually only 24, 24 years old. So this was 2018 when I was actually just graduating high school. I was working, overnights on the weekends. I was driving. Once I got my license, I was driving from high school to the donut shop, our first donut shop. We actually have 4 now. And I was driving there every day after school doing the overnight. So I was tired. I was like sleeping during class in high school. Totally my choice though. My parents would have not made me do that, but I just wanted to grow the business. I've always had like an entrepreneurial mind. So was my whole family. And this was not actually my first family business. We actually had done like screen printing as well, screen printing and embroidery. But the donut business is what stuck. And yeah, we're still doing that. And I've been doing that, helping with that. I do a lot of the social media, a lot of like the content. So we have a TikTok, we have a Instagram, and we also have a YouTube. I actually,
Nice.
when I first started watching Cape Gunworks, I was watching all of them on the Rocco's Donut sorry, I think my dog's barking. I hope that's not coming through. I was actually watching all of these gun videos through my Rocco's Donut Company of YouTube, and that has like almost 50,000 subscribers. It's gone down in viewership since then. The algorithm apparently doesn't like donuts either right now, as much as it doesn't like guns. But I've grown that to that size. I've grown the TikTok to, I think we have almost 400,000. What do you call them on there? Followers. And then Instagram, we have almost 70,000. But I'll tell you, it's a tough game trying to get, because you're running a business, but it's obviously, much harder for a gun business with that kind of content. But even for donut videos, it's surprisingly hard. The algorithm just like, it doesn't really like business stuff. It doesn't like business content. But that's my experience with that. And yeah,
So
I started.
where are the locations? And it's Rocco's Donuts is the name of the shop?
Yeah, so we're out towards we're more in the Worcester area. I know I have a lot of viewers that are in that area. So we have one in Worcester, we have one in Millbury, we have one in Westboro, and we actually just opened one in Auburn, which is my hometown. And
So there was another donut guy at the rally on Saturday, Route 1 in Saugus, and I forget what the name of his donut shop is, but he introduced himself, and I'm like, where are the donuts at? Like, come on, man. Like, seriously? Like, you came to a rally and didn't bring us sampling? Same, and I'll say the same to you, Don. Like, come on, man. You got to up your game next time.
I'm telling you, I showed up to the rally. I pushed myself because I think I was telling people I had just worked like a full overnight that night because I was helping with the filling in for a decorator, and I basically like went home, took a quick power nap, and then got in the car and drove right there. I was a little bit late, but I still made it for some of it, which I'm happy about.
Yeah. Now, last question, then we're going to move on to the real reason you're here. But
of course.
What's your best-selling donut in the shop?
I'd say probably the strawberries and cream.
Strawberries and cream, not the Boston creams. The strawberries and cream.
Yeah, no, you know who likes, and I'm not offending. I'm not trying to offend anyone here, but Boston cream is a huge donut with dads. It's probably the most popular donut. Like on Father's Day, that donut sells out immediately because at least the perception is there that dads like that donut. Strawberries and cream, I'd say almost everybody likes that one. Like everyone I've talked to, they're like, when is it coming back? Because we have like a rotating menu.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, people are always asking about it.
Awesome. Well, I'll definitely have to make the pilgrimage at some point to. So I'm putting this out there so that somebody might rip off my idea, and someone might have already done it, but like the whole Barstool Sports pizza one bite that Dave Portnoy does. I was going to kind of rip off his idea and do that for donut shops in Massachusetts, and do a, one bite of a donut and then a dunk in the coffee and give my review of the donut. And I actually did it. I filmed like 2 episodes of it and never released them because I'm like, all right, I think I'm at the max capacity for the amount of time I have to put into this. And the thought was, if I could do this for 4 or 5 months, and then I could get the food truck up and running and manufacture donuts, now that would be a natural feed into the, the launch of the donuts. And I could say, I haven't been able to find the donut I like, so we made it. But so I'm really just throwing out all my business ideas that keep me up at night for you and the world to hear about. But I figure it's better to put that into the universe and have somebody take that idea and run with it than to have it not get done at all. So that was.
You better hope my dad's not watching this, because he might
do it.
steal that idea.
That's why I put it out there. Do it. You have my blessing. It's a great idea. And so we've dominated the conversation over donuts, but I guess it's all
right. I knew that would happen. It's my fault for bringing that up.
No, it's awesome. I love it. And if anyone doesn't like donuts, then they need to ask themselves, what country they should be living in other than America, because it's like,
right.
It's so un-American to not like donuts. But anyway, so were you always a shooter into guns? What got you into guns? Were you raised in a house that had guns? Did you hunt? What got you started in the 2A kind of side of things?
Yeah, so surprisingly, it's kind of been more my own journey. My parents, they're very conservative, but they're not, like, my dad's very conservative, but he's not like really into guns. Like, I've tried to talk to him about it, but he doesn't. He likes the idea of the Second Amendment, but he's not, like a gun guy. And the actual person that kind of got me into it was my older brother, Vinny. If you ever come to the donut shop, you'll probably see him. He kind of looks like me, but he's older.
Not to be confused with my cousin Vinny.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. We're all Italian, so we got, of course, the most Italian names. My brother Vinny, he got me into guns. He took me shooting before I had my license or anything, and I just like had a real love for it. I had a love for what types of guns were which, like what kind of ammo is what. I just like, I get very nerdy like with that kind of stuff, like calibers and all that. And he kind of introduced me to that, even though he's not even that big of a he's not even that huge of a gun guy, but he kind of made me like, he introduced me to it.
Yeah.
And I remember him talking, because I wasn't old enough to even have a gun during the 2016 Healy edict. And I remember him talking about it, and he was like talking about it in such a negative way, and I didn't really understand, like, because I was only 16 at the time. I didn't really form political views yet. And I was always thinking about that, and I'm like, well, like, isn't it an assault weapon? Isn't that bad? And oh boy, have I changed my viewpoint since then, after I did a couple Google searches. And he was always talking about how mad he was that he didn't grab something before that 2016 thing. But yeah, he got me into it. And then the channel, I don't know did I already talk about this? I don't even know. But
go for it.
I started the channel kind of in the hopes that, again, like I do a lot of content creation with the Rocco's Donut Shop. So, and I just love, I love the 2A. I love guns. So I was like, maybe I can do that for this. And then the real part for, again, and I think I already mentioned this, but when I actually developed more of like a, wanting to spread the message of all the Massachusetts stuff was when the bill passed, like when it actually, or probably leading up to when that bill passed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, did you, you said you started in February. Had you talked about, you weren't really doing long format, but you were, doing gun reviews or whatever. And then did you talk about the pending bill, or did you even know about it when you first started the channel?
I did. And I started the channel as almost like I just started doing shorts. So I don't know if people know what that is, but it's kind of like the TikTok of YouTube. So it's like very short videos, like up to 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And I tried to just put my like voiceover into that, and I would talk about issues like all over the country, not just Massachusetts. That's why I kind of called it Restricted America.
Right.
And I still hope to be able to cover the whole country, but I'm only one person. And the amount of stuff that's been coming out just for Massachusetts has been taking like all my time.
Yeah.
All my extra time. Cause I also, I do this, I obviously, work the full time. And then I also do, I also going back to school right now as well. So
okay.
What
are you doing in school?
So I'm going back to I'm going to SNHU. I'm just taking online courses, and I'm trying to get a business admin degree.
Cool.
Yep.
So that's, I've been a businessman my entire adult life, and I've never taken a class on how to run a business or what it looks like. And so I've literally gone to the school of hard knocks. So my hat's off to you for actually doing it right. I walked into a college class after high school and had the check in my pocket to pay the teacher to give to the admin because I was way behind the eight ball with getting things pre-done ahead of time, like when you're supposed to.
Right.
Which is still the way I am today. Like, I'm going to reach in my pocket and show the world and expose my own ineptitude. But here's the 3 dealer's licenses that I have to operate Cape Gunworks. Oh, and yeah, they expired on my birthday. They're in my pocket, so I remember to go down to the PD and renew them. Thankfully, my business partner has them staggered every other year, so we can always operate if I do the inevitable, which is forget to renew my licenses. But the point I'm trying to make is, the school book thing wasn't really my shtick. I walked in to the class and I sat down and I'm looking around and there's people coming in with backpacks and, they got papers in their hand, they got pencils and pens and, laptops and ready to go. And I'm like, I don't have a scrap of paper. I don't have a thing to write with. And I'm sitting here with my check for the first semester of the school. And I'm like, yeah, I'm out. So I got up, I said, I got to hit the head. And I walked out and I never came back. I almost sprinted to the truck. I was so out of place. I felt like a fish out of water. Went back to framing houses. But, I wonder what they even teach you in school for business. My son is actually going to UMass Amherst. He's at the Eisenberg School of Business and Business Management and whatnot. So I'm hoping that he'll take the shortcut to the route I took, which was, 30 plus years of doing this the hard way. So anyway, my hat's off to you for doing it. If you're already entrepreneurial minded, then I think you're headed in the right direction with that. So what's your I noticed some of your videos you've put out in the past. You're, I think, optimistic about our plan. We've got this the Civil Rights Coalition has been formed. This ballot committee is done and it's happening. We got the website up and running. We're able to take donations. Now, the last thing to fall into place is Secretary Galvin
getting the petition to us, and allegedly that could happen Friday. His office said Friday or Monday. We all know Monday's a holiday, so that's not happening. So, what's your feeling based on reading the comments or engaging with other gun owners? And
So yeah, I'd say I'm trying to keep a positive outlook on this. I think we have a better chance than a lot of people are making it out to be. I know I've seen the comments on your videos. I've seen the comments on my videos. I get a lot of negative comments, like, it's not going to work or something like that, or kind of just disagreeing with my positive outlook. But I would say, I'd say there's a lot better chance of us succeeding than they think there is. And even if there isn't, like, what's the point in just being negative about it?
Right.
Like, it doesn't serve a purpose. In my 24 years, I've learned that.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. There's always going to be the naysayers. There's going to be the people that just want you to fail. Even, it's funny, when I started Cape Gunworks 10 years ago, Brendan and I, we thought that, like, the gun community would show up and roll out the red carpet and would get out, and there'd be like confetti tossed in the air, like, oh, there's another gun store in town. And we found out quickly that wasn't going to be the case. And there were people that, like, hoped we failed, literally, within the gun industry, and not just competitors, but other people, like, just crotchety, people that didn't want another gun store in Massachusetts. And I found that to be amazing. And I was telling somebody about that, and I'm like, I'm surprised that there's people out there that just aren't excited about another gun shop in Massachusetts. And he goes, oh yeah, so you met the gun owners against gun owners then, huh? I'm like, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to steal that and remember that. But yeah, I did. I met him, and then I met him in a big time way. But it was pretty interesting to me to say, hey, we're going to earn this the old-fashioned way. We're not going to be able to just hang a shingle and people are going to flock to the store and say, we're happy for you. But we had to fight through all kinds of adversity, and I'm not complaining about that. Nothing good comes without serious work and dedication. But the truth of the matter is I think we're in a very unique time right now where the people have a chance to be activated in a way that has never been. I've never seen an opportunity like this in the 30 plus years I've been a gun owner in Massachusetts, where the people are motivated, there's an energy, there's a palpable energy behind it, and the fact that we can do something about it instead of complain or just send a check and hope the cavalry rides in over the hill and saves the day. In the article I wrote for the Howie Carr Show column today, I mentioned that, like, there's basically, we can just hope that the cavalry, like the FPC, the SAF, the GOAs, all those of the world, ride to our rescue before sunset, and we don't have to lift a finger other than sending $30. And then that's one option. Or we got to wait for the courts to get in line with the Bruin decision and say, you can't do that. You got to look at the text, the history, and traditional analogs or laws of the founding era, and that's all you can do. But that could take 10 years for courts to get fixed, and so that leaves me to say, all right, if no one's coming to do this for us, in firearms training community, we say it all the time, there's nobody coming to save you. Like when, other people say when seconds count, police are only minutes away, right? So all those sayings or isms that we're used to now really apply to us. the chance to get ourselves organized, remove the naysayers, remove the gun owners against gun owners, and get this positive energy moving in the right direction, and activate the grassroots army. All the people who think that their vote doesn't count, their voice doesn't matter, sometimes they stay home on election day because they are so discouraged, are all of a sudden going, hey, I just went and registered to vote just so I can sign this thing to recall our rights. And so I don't know if you're seeing that in your streams, but obviously my streams, the people are activated. Everyone's like, when can I get this petition? So they're really amped up, ready to go. So I think we have a unique opportunity to hit the ground running and knock this out of the park.
No, I honestly think the enthusiasm is way higher than anything. Honestly, I wish it was a little bit more higher before the bill had passed, but what are you going to do about it? I'm just glad that people are like engaged, and most people are unified. And I'd say the people that are still like saying, oh, like, what's Goal doing, or what are they doing with our money, like that kind of annoys me. But
right.
I like the what would you call it, the unity front that we have going right now, and it's from people from all different backgrounds. Like most people, I would say even I'm included in that. Like most people wouldn't look at me in the donut shop and say, this guy looks like a gun guy. He said he looks like a donut baker. But
I think you're being very stereotypical of the donut bakers, Tom.
Yeah, I keep bringing the donut thing back in. I apologize.
No, it's funny. I was going to say you're way too thin and skinny to be the stereotypical poster child for donut baker.
I'll tell you, when you work around them so much, you don't want them anymore. But maybe I don't think that's the case with guns, but yeah, no, I think it's great. I actually just got to meet, I've been in contact with a couple people, but John Mawhinney, he's great. I actually just started to call him, and he's doing a lot of, I think you've mentioned him on the show, but he's doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
He's my co-pilot in this whole effort. Like, the guy is just a complete and utter savage when it comes to getting work done. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. We will be going live when I have breaking news, and also for sure on Sunday for Rapid Fire on WXTK. But anyway, yeah, John is just relentless and tireless in this whole effort, and so he's great. So I'm glad you were able to connect with him and hook up with him, and that's really good for the cause if you can connect with him, because
right. And I've said, I want to help in any way I can. I know I don't know how much help it is, but I'd love, I know you're doing it, but I'd love to get the message out as well. If you guys have specific things that you need to share, let me know. And I said the same thing to Goal. I actually just went over to the Goal office, which is apparently in Westboro, right where I work, and I didn't even know that for the past couple years that I knew about Goal. So I hopped over there. I brought them donuts. Unfortunately, a lot of them had left by that point, but Mike was there, and we chatted. And he's great. He's doing a lot. He's actually the one that showed me that that article yesterday about the Switchblade case.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that yet. I
know, and he's pretty excited about that. I mean, I was reading it. It seems to be good stuff. I know a lot of people comment, oh, it's just switchblades, but like the language in it is what you should be looking at.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A win's a win right now, and I'm happy to see it, because now, interestingly enough, it's the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court. It's not the same as the federal court system, which we see in district courts and the First Circuit Court of Appeals, which are known offenders to the Second Amendment. They are not our friend when it comes to Second Amendment causes. But we have seen some district courts We saw Lowell District Court, and we saw Fall River District Court, and we saw, I think, Hamden or Hampton. I always forget which one it is. 3 good pro-gun, pro-2A decisions come out of those courts. And so I'm like, I like this trend. We're trending in the right direction. It's like when, me and my over 40 hockey guys, in our over 40 league, when we have a win, we're like, we got a streak going, we got one win, but we're like, it's a streak, we're on a streak here. I'm okay with that, in Massachusetts. If we got 4 wins, that's a streak as far as I'm concerned. So you got to keep it and keep the wins, as a big thing in the courts, anywhere in the courts in Massachusetts. So a win's a win.
That's a big win. I mean, the fact that I don't know how much you want to get into it, but the fact that they referenced, Bruin Heller and basically Caetano in the same decision. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's a huge thing for a court system such as Massachusetts.
Well, Caetano, and I think we could make more precedent here in Massachusetts with all of our horrific laws. I'm sure we could continue to make a full library of case law when it comes to the unconstitutional laws in Massachusetts. But I will say that Caetano, and they always respond to Supreme Court decisions. That one was specifically a Massachusetts case. And what do after they're told by, at the time, Antonin Scalia, who wrote the majority opinion for Caetano, was instead of just complying with the law or complying with the order from the Supreme Court, they redefine a stun gun to be a firearm. And now they're subject to license to carry and everything else, which is utterly ridiculous. But now we've seen, as a Bruin response bill, H 4885, there's nothing in that bill that will stand up to the constitutional scrutiny of the Bruin mandate, which is really just a reaffirmation of the Heller decision from 2008 as good law. They just basically said it's good law. And you need to look at the plain text of the Second Amendment. If there's a provision in there for the restriction that you're proposing or that you're interpreting, cool. If there isn't, now the burden shifts to government in order to make the argument that there's a historical and analogous tradition at the founding era in 1791. If there ain't one, it's unconstitutional. It is literally as simple as that. And Michael Day gets into these word salads about how this is constitutional. It'll hold up to scrutiny, and all we're doing, the legislative intent here is to keep people safe. Well, guess what? That's not something that is in his purview. It isn't his job to keep people safe, according to Michael Day's definition of how that gets done. What is in his purview is using his power to legislate within the confines of the constitutional limits to keep people safe. In other words, hey, we already got a bunch of laws on the books. Why don't we just enforce those against the bad guys and leave the lawful citizen alone who is going to keep and bear arms for his own personal enjoyment or protection or whatever he deems he wants to do that with. And then it works. And guess what? You don't have to pass a single law because the laws already exist. But we know that it's much more nefarious than that. They have to demonize gun owners. They have to lay the blame at the feet of gun owners for every bad thing that ever happens with a gun. And then get media to be complicit with carrying that message in the water for them, all so that they can continue to erode the Second Amendment. And the switchblade thing was just another brick in the wall for them that is now, I would say it's a spring in the dam. It's a leak in the dam that is eventually going to come down. If we can get enough of those leaks coming through with wins here and there, then yeah, we're going to have massive win when it comes to the Second Amendment in states like Massachusetts. It's going to take time. So I think that the messaging of the recall efforts or the Civil Rights Coalition is a much smarter game plan in the short run. Not to say we don't need legal challenges, we do, but I think it's really, really a pivotal key role. And what other thing can we get people from the grassroots level activated? You know, I don't know of a time in Massachusetts where people have been this activated. So I hope I'm not wrong about that, but time will tell.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the time to push, like you said. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, the amount of obstacles that we have, it's crazy. And you know, I'm only 24, and I've noticed that from this. And you know, I learned about that, and I know I'm kind of veering off subject, but when I learned about, I think it was 2014, it was Paul Frost's silencer bill or suppressor, trying to, you know, legalize them. And the fact that I say it went nowhere. I mean, I guess it did go a little bit.
That actually, that bill had legs, and that was going somewhere. And then I believe it was Sandy Hook, if I'm not mistaken, happened. Or what was it, 2014? So I think it was Sandy Hook. And it went boom. I mean, it was going nowhere after that. But that bill actually did have some leg under it.
And it's like I don't know. I would see that as a safety thing. You know, a safety. You know, I don't know. I still get upset when I think about that. I mean, I've already almost blew out my eardrum. Like it. I wish things like that would pass. And I know, obviously, all the stuff with the new bill, with that video you posted, I thought that was hilarious, with you holding the gun without any sort of barrel shroud. It's like they really do want us to hurt ourselves in this state. And I just think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. That's the implication. Like, so the video he's talking about is that one where Lucas, our range guys, got the stripped down gun. So he shows a regular AR-15 first. It's got the adjustable stock, a flash hider, a barrel shroud, a pistol grip, a detachable mag, all the evil stuff, right? And then he shows what the safest gun in Massachusetts, according to the people that make the laws, what it would look like. And it is basically an AR-15 with no pistol grip, no handguard, no stock, a fixed magazine, and no muzzle device, right? So the implications, or what the law implies, is that what makes the society safer is when the user of a gun can't aim it or control it or shoot it accurately. And that's ridiculous. Like, if they were truly into gun safety legislation, they would want handguards, pistol grips, adjustable stocks. They would want bipods. They would want flash hiders and muzzle brakes. They would want suppressors, because guess what? All of that contributes to the ability to shoot my gun more accurately and aim it and safely, right? How does not being able to control a gun and having it fire wildly, how does that make anyone more safe? And I gave an interview a few weeks ago to I think it was Reuters or one of those national news agencies. It might have been the AP or someone. But they're like, oh, this is really just a gun safety bill. I'm like, really? Explain to me how removing all the safety features off a gun makes it more safe for the people that use it. But it's absolutely ridiculous. G-Webs is talking about the one in Las Vegas in 2018, the shooting in Las Vegas that killed the Hearing Protection Act. That that was the one that was national, and I would agree with you, G-Webs, that kicked that one out. But the one I think Don was talking about was one in Massachusetts to make us, I think at the time, the 46th state where suppressors would be lawful. I'm sorry, the 41st state, because there's 8 states that still you cannot own suppressors in. But anyway, yeah, it's just unbelievable. That's the way it goes, unfortunately. But there's, and that's the ridiculous nature of that. We had Rob Pincus on a couple weeks ago, and he was like, it's just ridiculous that we have to take time, money, and effort to do videos like that instead of doing real firearms training on showing people the safe and efficient use of firearms, instead of, think all the time, energy, and effort that's lost as a result of just, not being able to dedicate the time to help people. But anyway.
Right. I mean, you know what, Toby? The thing that makes me the most angry about this bill, I mean, there's so many things that make me angry about it, but the thing that it targets, I feel like, is people that don't even have their license yet, and like kids, people younger than me, people younger than 21 that didn't have a chance to even buy any of these guns that, are grandfathered. They might still be able to later, but they're not going to have the same opportunities if this bill, say this bill stays into a law like they think it is, but I think we're going to overturn it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I have so many friends that I've been trying to get them to, hopefully they're watching so I can bust their butt, that I've been trying to get them a license, and, before all this stuff goes, because it's gonna be harder for a little bit.
Well, you talk about a period of time, when people get their license, what they won't be able to buy should this law stand. I was in that same situation. I actually became a gun owner in 93. So I had a short window of time before the 94 assault weapons ban went into effect. And as a new gun owner, I was, at the time, I'm dating myself, but you could be 18 and get your license to carry in this state, believe it or not. And I would go to gun shows quite frequently. And I remember being at a gun show in Marlboro, or one of the big ones out western part of the state, I can't remember. And some guy had the audacity to be asking, I think it was $1,800 for an HK SP89, which is the pistol version of the MP5. Yeah. And I was like, $1,800. I can get this from Shotgun News for $1,600 all day. Take my money and walk right by this guy. And now I think about, like, I wish I had a tractor trailer load of those in pre-ban configuration, because it was just a few months later that the 94 assault weapons ban, September 13th, 1994, went through. And the good old days were over. Like, we all were like, shoot, now what can we buy? We got through it, and there was pre-ban mags and guns and everything. But even still, Massachusetts has been living with that ever since. And so really the good old days never came back for people like me in Massachusetts, when the rest of the country got their rights back in 2004. So you make a great point that there's people out there that don't even know what they're missing and what they're going to be missing, because they're kind of asleep at the wheel, not paying attention. And I get it. I don't blame them. But there's, look at the coverage of the rally on Saturday. If it wasn't for the Boston Herald, there would have been zero coverage, as far as I know. That's the only newspaper that covered it. And, the Globe, WCVB TV, Fox 25, none of them covered it. So,
yeah. I was saying about that is, the good thing is it didn't get any bad press. That was one thing I was a little worried about, because news likes to spin that kind of stuff. But I'd say that that's a huge positive. And the amount of people that showed up, I thought was great.
Well, and I think you showed up late. I think at least half the crowd had left by then, maybe more than half. Early on, I'd say from 10 to noon. I would say it probably peaked out around noon, 11:30, noon ish. And I personally think there was probably about 1,500 people there at the peak, maybe even closer to 2,000. But we were spread out pretty far. And I found it very telling that there was no police presence. Like when I left work on Friday, I was walking out the range doors, and they sometimes have Fox 25 on the TV, and I saw this press conference with the Boston Police Department chief saying, he's put extra officers on because there's a busy weekend in Boston. There's lots of events on Saturday. There was like the Caribbean Festival. There's some reenactment thing going on the Boston Common. I think it was the Lafayette commemoration or whatever. Then there was our rally. Then there was other groups that had licenses or permits as well. And so they were like prepping for a busy day for cops on Saturday. And guess where the police weren't? At the gun rally, right? And I think that speaks volumes. They knew they didn't have to worry about us. They knew that we're a peaceful and self-policing society that, just wants to be left alone and just wants our right to keep and bear arms to be intact for, our kids and our grandkids' generation and every generation afterwards here in America. And yet people like Michael Day label us as extremist. That was in the paper today. And, that one of the reasons people choose to live in Massachusetts is so they can walk down the street without someone coming up and menacing them. And I find that quite telling that Michael Day thinks that we're the ones that go up and menace people in the state, and we need to deal with that immediately. That's what he did with Chapter 135. So crazy.
All right.
A bunch of people are saying in the chat that they follow your channel and to go back and watch all of your videos. So that's cool. And a lot of people comment on the great hair you have. I'm a little jealous. Mine is, I have less hair now than at any other point in my life. So what's the future look like for you as far as your channel and as far as, where do you go from here? How can people support you and what you do? And why don't you, tell everyone what your plans are?
All right. Yeah. No, I appreciate, first off, I appreciate everyone that watches me so far. I got a huge, loyal, I say customer base. I think I'm talking about Rocco's. I have a huge loyal follower base, and they're great. And thank you again for watching my stuff. I know we've grown from a little YouTube channel, but I got some stuff in the works. I appreciate Toby and Cape Gun Works for having me on here, and I want to be doing some videos with hopefully be doing some live streams soon. Again, I'm not the best with technology. It took a lot for me to get on here. But I'm going to be doing some stuff with like Gun Owners Action League with Mike Harris. We have some stuff planned. Actually think I just got a hold of the Sons of Liberty podcast, so hopefully we'll be able to do something with them. If you didn't watch the one with Toby and them, that was amazing. They have some great production skills. And yeah, I think the future looks bright. I hope we can continue growing, and hopefully I can cover more of the country while still continuing to cover Massachusetts stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. So you're in Western Mass. Are you a member of any gun club out that way, or?
Yeah, so I'm actually a member of what is it? Oh, I think Auburn Sportsman's Club. I could be wrong. But they're great. Most gun clubs are great. I don't think I've ever heard of a bad one.
I could tell you a few stories,
okay,
but we'll keep that for another day.
I'll take that back.
And they're no longer the way they were. So I think I hold the record. And I'm just going to tease this out because then the listeners will make me do a video about it someday. But not only have I been kicked out of a gun club, but I got blacklisted from at least 3 others. So then once, like, I thought enough time went by where they would have buried the hatchet. No, because we wanted to enter the Cape and Islands Pistol League with a team from Cape Gunworks. And, you know, this is not like me bringing in the ringers. This was like me bringing in my wife and my daughter and like people who've never fired a gun in competition before. And it's the nerdiest, geekiest shooting. It's gallery shooting, one hand, you know, slow, timed, and rapid fire in the official NRA gallery match. So a couple of people were like, yeah, like the generation that still does that type of shooting is dying, right? They have one foot on a banana peel and the other one in a grave. And once they're gone, that sport is gone. So I'm like, hey, we'll breathe some new life into it. We'll get like 15 new shooters, bunch of people who, you know, will buy a Ruger Mark IV pistol or something like that and eventually upgrade to a Pardini when they get hooked. And then, so we go to the meeting. They ask me to leave the room and then vote. I think it was 3-1 against allowing Cape Gunworks to put a team in. And it was all because one team threatened to pull out of the league if they allowed me in. So I'm like, you know, you want to talk about gun owners against gun owners. And I'm like, this is amazing. And I'm like, all right, guys, I'm out. But you do realize you're all like over 60. When you die, who's taking on this sport? Like, who's going to continue this tradition? And so they're like, no one, you know, we're going to take it to our grave because that's what we do. And so it's like, so yeah, if you have a good circle of gun clubs out by you, consider yourself lucky. I think most of that kind of old guard mentality has changed and things are starting to soften up and loosen up again. So, but yeah, I kind of find it weird that I'm like one of the guys fighting for our rights in Massachusetts, and there's certain gun clubs I can't go to. So there you have that. Yeah, full story. Telling stories out of school. But all right, so how can people follow your channel? Tell them where to go.
Yeah, so I think it's just at Restricted America. I'm pretty sure it's also streaming from my channel right now. So if you look up Restricted America, it will show up. It's just like the United States map, and then it just says restricted in the middle, and it's all blacked out. But yeah, definitely follow me. I just started an X account as well, and that's at RestrictedAMA. I'm trying to grow that as well so I can kind of get easier updates out to people, because it's a little bit difficult on YouTube. People are kind of expecting just video content.
All right, so before you go, let's get another look at our poll question of the day. If a candidate for any office doesn't align with most of your key issues, but is a Second Amendment supporter on Election Day, do you hold your nose and vote for them, vote for my party, or stay at home? What say you?
You want me to answer?
Yeah, why not?
This might be maybe unpopular, but I would say to hold my nose and vote for them.
I like that. And you're with 84.7% of the people.
Oh, okay, that's good.
10.2% say vote for my party, and 5.1 would stay home. They feel that there's no point in voting, which hopefully we can change the minds of the 5%.
Yeah,
but
I just did a video about that, about how important voting is. I don't care what party, if they align with those issues, like vote for them.
Right. Yeah. And so yeah, you can vote in our poll if you go over to X at Cape Gunworks, and I would love to hear from you. So that'd be great. And Dom, thanks so much for joining us today. I appreciate your time, and we'll certainly send everyone your way to get things rolling in the right direction. The more people shining the light of truth out there, the better. And so I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule and coming on and tempting me with donuts.
I'll send you some.
All right. I didn't mean to dump you so quick. But all right, man. Well, thanks so much. And we'll do this again sometime. How's that?
All right.
All right. Take care. All right, guys. There you have it. That was Dom from Restricted America, and I appreciate you guys. So what can you do right now? You can go over to fightbackma.org or Civil Rights Coalition and sign up to be told or tell us what you can do to volunteer your services or where to get a petition when they're out to sign, and hit the donate button so that we can get as many people possible to hear this message. It is a sprint. We got 4 or 5 weeks. And so there you have it. All right, guys. God bless. It's been a pleasure being with you guys today. And I look forward to seeing you again on Sunday for Rapid Fire on WXTK. And thank you again for all the super chats and everybody's willingness to participate. But I do have to run. I have pressing business at this time. And we'll see you Sunday. I will go live for sure sooner if there's breaking news about the petitions coming out. And don't forget, Friday, we have Howie Carr in studio, and we're going to be doing a debate with the 3 Republican candidates for the U.S. Senate challenging Elizabeth Warren. So that's going to be from 6 to 7. We'll try to live stream that, and you guys can hear that. So looking forward to seeing everybody then. God bless, and stay